How's it going, guys? I'm back. I've been court watching and learning a lot from these corrupt public officials, and one thing that I've learned is that some officers will lie to make the radar make it seem like you were speeding. Now, I actually saw in one day 5 people get cited for going 45 and a 35 by one officer on a motorcycle. Can you believe that? And one of them testified, the first person that was cited testified that the officer was the one speeding going in his direction as he was going the opposite direction, and then the officer did a U-turn and stopped him and said, "You were going 45." And the guy was like, "No, I wasn't. You were going, fast. You were speeding." And then, the judge, of course, he stopped that and said, "Please only talk about facts of the case," which it was, but he didn't want to hear it. So they were all found guilty, unfortunately, like always, and so they were upset. And but I can say I got new subscribers thanks to these crooked cops. Not all of them are crooked, of course, just 99.9% of them. And so that's one thing I kind of figured out that they were doing to make it look like they were really doing a service to the community, when in fact they are not. Another thing I've seen in misdemeanors and in some infractions is that when you get charged with, say for example, speeding or some type of infraction, that can ultimately lead to a misdemeanor if the officer wants to say you committed some kind of misdemeanor where it was either resisting arrest or what have you. It could be DUI, it could be many things. Now what happens is the DA will say, Mr. or Ms. so-and-so, and he'll go through everybody in court one by one. "Hey, look, can you, provide me some kind of proof of something, and I'll do you the favor and I'll just drop the case, or I'll drop a charge if you can prove it." So what happens is you'll say, "Oh, well, I have insurance. The officer lied, and so, he said I didn't have insurance, but I had insurance." He goes, "Oh, well, that's fine. You know what? I'm going to drop that charge right now, but you're going to have to deal with the other stuff. So unfortunately, I can only help you so much. I'm sorry, we can only be friends for one day. I got to do my job." That type of attitude. And of course the person was like, "Oh yeah, no, I understand. Thank you so much, sir. Oh, okay, next." And of course next person comes up. But I heard many people saying the same thing. Officers were lying about them not having insurance, and they had proof. The officer was lying about not having registration, and they had registration, and they even brought the proof. Now, I would never do that because, well, let me tell you what I would do. What I would do is I would say, "You know what? I was speeding, I had no registration, and I had no insurance, and I don't need it. So you know what? Let's just go to trial and get this crap over with. I don't care. Let's just do it." Of course, he's going to lick his chops, or she's going to lick her chops, thinking that they got you in a corner now because you can't prove anything. "Oh, perfect. Yeah, you know what? We'll go to trial. Don't worry about it. Just come back on this day," or whatever the case may be. Fine. Come back to court. "Officer, isn't it true that I was allegedly speeding and that's why you stopped me?" "Yes." "Officer, isn't it true that I had no insurance, which is why you cited me for having no insurance?" "Yes." "Officer, isn't it true that I was, let's just say it was resisting arrest, okay? Isn't it true that I allegedly resisted arrest and that's why you charged me with resisting arrest?" "Yes." "Officer, now, did I physically touch you in order for me to resist?" "Why, yes, you did." "Okay, officer. Now, isn't it true that you are allowed to lie to a suspect or a criminal defendant?" "Why, yes." "Well, officer, isn't it true that I'm still considered a criminal defendant right now? Am I still not a suspect?" "Why, yes." "Well, officer, are you lying right now?" And of course the objection. This fine standing officer is helping the community, saving everybody from killers and rapists. And so they object. "Okay, well, officer, isn't it true that you have never lied in your life?" Objection. "Well, officer, I mean, have you ever lied?" And of course objection. And then by this time the judge is upset. "Well, Your Honor, I'm just trying to see if this officer is a liar or not, that's all." "Well, there's ways to do that. You can't do it like that. There's rules of evidence and blah blah blah." "Okay, Your Honor. Sorry. Well, officer, isn't it true that I wasn't speeding?" "No, you were speeding." "Well, officer, isn't it true that I had insurance?" "No, you had no insurance." Or let's just say he said I had no registration. "Well, officer, isn't it true that I had registration?" "No, you didn't have registration." Oh, okay. Well, officer, isn't it true that I wasn't resisting arrest? No, you were resisting arrest. Yeah, you hurt me really bad, and so I had to tase you and beat you with a stick and all that. Well, officer, can you please read Exhibit A to the court? And of course, I come out with my proof. I had insurance, or I had registration. You see? Now I can back it up and impeach the witness. So, folks, don't fall for that. Do not let the DA lie to you and try to convince you that he's gonna or she's gonna help you, and say, hey, tell me, what you got, and show me what you got, and that way I can drop it. That way you can't come back and impeach my witness. So that way we can pretty much screw you. Now keep in mind, if you have a public defender and they give you these false charges, the public defender is going to say, well, you know what, we're going to dismiss and drop this. I got this dropped for you. I showed him you had insurance and I fought for you and we dropped it. But the only catch is you got to do a plea agreement to resisting arrest, and you got to say guilty. So now you're screwed because you made it seem like he dropped something that shouldn't even be there in the first place. And at the same time, now you got to say you're guilty for something that might not even have been true as well. So keep that in mind, folks. Never trust these people out there because they're only there to make money. And once in a while they will save lives. I'm not going to say that they don't, but once in a while they do. But for the most part, this has to do with traffic matters and getting set up by some public officials. So that's why I stay on course. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Godspeed, folks, and just keep in mind, ammo's going off the shelf like crazy, so you better stock up.